Welcome to the 1760 sessions, where we explore how EdTech founders are using AI to scale smarter, innovate faster, and build the future of learning. I'm your host, Matt Reyes, founder of 1760 Strategic AI, consultancy that combines proven strategy with cutting-edge AI to help EdTech companies scale operations and focus on innovation. And today, I'm joined by our guest, Nolan Frausto, CTO of AdaptedMind. Today, we're going to dive into Nolan's journey with AdaptedMind, as well as get his thoughts on the latest trends and challenges within the EdTech space. Nolan, how are you doing
Thank you
today?
for having me. Yeah. Thank you for having me. And doing great and excited to get started.
Awesome. So let's start with the big picture. When you look at the EdTech landscape today, what do you see in terms of genuine innovation versus Me Too products?
Yeah, it's today is especially interesting because you can't talk about either really without talking about AI a bit. And because both are happening, and you see a lot of companies just slop on AI, to have it, and oh, here's a chatbot, here's a little avatar that is just a wrap around ChatGPT or something like that. But then there's also very powerful, very real kind of innovation to be had in the e-learning space in particular with AI. So balancing, the just following along and throwing it wherever you possibly can versus thoughtfully integrating it and understanding it is it's a balance, right? And it's kind of a tightrope to walk these days.
Yeah, definitely. And that's a really interesting point in terms of, swaying away from just the standard generic GPT wrapped, same thing, just putting a white label on GPT and then, yeah, that's your AI, to actually using it thoughtfully and innovate in an innovative way. So I was wondering, could you expand on that and specifically how it relates to yourself and what you're doing at Adapted Mind?
Yep. So at Adapted Mind, we teach children. Math is our primary subject, and we teach elementary school. Pre-K to 8 is our full grade range, but really focusing in on that pre-K to like 5th grade, pre-K to 4th grade is our primary kind of demographic. And when you talk early learning for children, especially, AI is you got to be a little more thoughtful. So,
For sure,
a
yeah.
middle school or high school, you might just write hey, ChatGPT, write me an essay on this. But, when you're talking, teach me addition, teach me patterns, like there's not a child kind of, is not going to be served by just a blob of text or even like a blob of text with some emojis or something. So how to approach it a little more thoughtfully is the route we're taking. We're not particularly kind of worried, but we want to be ahead of it. So, we're using it internally a lot. We're organizing our data. We're coming up with learning models, predictive analyses. So all these things, we are getting ahead of. But then, truly, after we understand that, how can we make our product better? How can we apply all these learnings to our users powerfully? It's something we're taking our time with, and we want to do well. Versus, again, we could throw out like some AI chatbot thing or AI, this or that. But especially when it comes to early children's learning, you do want to approach it more thoughtfully, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah, definitely. And I've noticed Adapted Mind's been around for a few years now. When would you say was the point when you started to really start thinking about integrating AI into Adapted Mind? Was that kind of something from the beginning, or is that more of like a recent endeavor?
So I joined AdaptedMind about 5 years ago now as CTO, and I am not one of the founders. It's been around for over a decade now, and I was brought in during COVID, which was a huge kind of transformative time for EdTech to help scale and grow organizationally, and product and kind of all the above. From that point 5 years ago to now. AI has always been a consideration. The way in which it's being utilized now is vastly different than the way it is utilized 5 years ago, even. But it's always been around, and it's always been adaptive learning is what we do. So it's always been something we want to go deeper into. And that first step is always kind of organizing the data, getting the data, and making it meaningful. And so that's kind of our approach from the beginning.
Yeah, definitely. And from your perspective as, CTO, who's helped scale this platform to, I saw on the website, 2 million parents worldwide from over 200 countries. What separates, EdTech companies that break through from those that get lost in the noise?
Yeah, it's I think the thoughtfulness matters. Again, especially, parents care deeply about their children. I'm a parent and I get it. Um, and I think, a lot of our competitors fall into one of two traps. One is you just make it a game and then you slap on the EdTech title, but the kid isn't learning anything. Your child isn't actually learning. It's just, he or she is having fun, but the learning isn't there. And that can feel good because, I'm giving an educational product to my children, but it's not really an educational product. So that's an easy trap to fall into. And then the other route is you make a kind of maybe an excellent learning experience, or you have a good foundation there, but it's boring and no one wants to play it. So even if you make the best thing in the world, if no one wants to use it, you're helping no one. So that right balance is something we think about very deeply, and I think that does set us apart from our competitors in that way, where we want it to be fun, we want it to be engaging, we don't want it to be too fun. The goal is to learn. And, we do stuff like lock children out, after a day's use, because we know that more is not helpful. And, it's actually, we're kind of figuring out how to best approach that concept. But even, if a parent might complain, hey, I want to use the product, or I want my kid to do more math, we have options for that, but we recommend not to, because instead of maximizing screen time, how can we maximize learning?
Yeah, definitely. And to follow up on that point, so how have you approached, I guess, staying innovative as these challenges and and these as tech has evolved, as AI has evolved a lot? How have you approached staying innovative as you guys have scaled further and further?
Yeah, I think it kind of goes back to our philosophy and goes back again. AI today is the most kind of transformative technology that everyone is kind of barreling towards, and for good reason, right? It's a bit bubbly, but there's some real sticking and real transformative technology going on. And I think our thoughtfulness again is how we stay innovative in that, again, don't just run blindly towards something, but think deeply on how can we improve learning outcomes?
Yeah.
How can we improve learning outcomes and engagement, so that a child wants to come back day after day, and that thoughtfulness does, I believe, set us apart.
And are those metrics tracked internally, through the software, or I guess their usage?
Yes, so we track quite a bit. We track anonymized, we're COPPA compliant. We don't,
Yeah.
track overly track, but we track enough to know, like, okay, this student got these problems right, these problems wrong. This is where they need help in. Revisit these lessons, and you have that over, thousands of, millions of students, and that's a lot of data in your hands that you can really use to help kind of guide future learning. And
Yeah,
okay,
definitely.
this student is learning this way, and we've seen that before, so this is the way they can learn best. And really, having that personalized learning ability,
Yeah,
and then
definitely.
move forward that way.
And has AI been a big help from the internal standpoint, from, just data analysis and being able to take that and make recommendations? Or has it been, I mean, I guess it could possibly be both, but also outward facing, consumer facing.
It's right now mostly the former,
Yeah,
and also internal tooling.
yeah,
And we do a lot of our own content. We have a team of animators and artists, and AI tooling helps with that as well. So content creation's big for us with kind of our AI tools. And now we are kind of I would say beginning. I mean, we've been at it for a little while, but we're truly beginning our journey of taking all our data, putting into models, and kind of truly understand what does a learning outcome, a good learning outcome, look like. It's easy to say, okay, this kid got 5 questions right and 1 wrong. Great, that. But there's a lot deeper to go.
Yeah,
A
no,
kid who
definitely.
got 10 questions wrong and 1 right, but they're trending in the right way, or they're getting them wrong in a way that shows learning. So using AI to kind of just deep dive into those and make sure we choose the right model, make sure we choose, do it thoughtfully, and it actually is used to improve real outcomes is what we're doing right now.
Amazing, amazing. Yeah, I could definitely see how AI could really, help with that process and just cut through a lot of the data and just give you, the key insights right away. Versus, before there's been a bit of a, I guess, bottleneck with enormous amounts of data. So I guess kind of on that tip, what have been your biggest operational challenges that you've dealt with since you've joined 5 years ago, and some of the biggest ones that you're facing right now?
Operationally, so since I joined, we've scaled and grew the team. I think every startup goes through a journey of growth, and it's a much like any learning journey. Struggle is part of it, and it's a not something to be shied away from. It's something we try to celebrate, because that it means that struggle is actually the learning process, and that's so kind of adopting our own philosophies as a product, as a team, really helped with that growth, in terms of how we work together, how we get things done. We launched an app since I joined, so it was a website
Okay.
only for
Yeah.
for a very long time, and now we're on the iOS App Store, on tablet, on mobile, on Android as well, the Google Play Store. Just expanding our offering, and
Hmm.
now again getting into unlocking a more fun experience, more fun product experience, more tied together with all of our subjects, and more powerful in terms of the types of learning you can do, is what we're kind of deep focusing on right now. And there's a lot there, right? So it comes with its own challenges, but we have a fantastic team. We enjoy working together. We support each other, and we teach children growth mindset concepts. Again, so it's very kind of beneficial to have a group of people that really embrace that, and a company that really embraces that.
Awesome. Yeah, and that's I think you mentioned the app application of it. I can see how that's especially in this day and age with mobile, with tablets, could be a really good I guess way to break down the barrier to consumption. What's been, I guess, since you've launched your app, what's been the, I guess, the breakdown in terms of usage been like?
Right now, about 20% of our usage is on the app.
Okay, so still mostly on the web, online. Okay.
Still mostly web. Another 20% though is on web, on tablet and mobile devices that could be using the app. So there is a push to kind of move all of that 40% into our app ecosystem,
Yeah.
as we do believe it's kind of our newest and best experience,
Yeah.
tied to the web, of course. But
Right.
when you're on an iPhone or an Android device, the best experience is going to be an app at the end
Yeah.
of the day.
Definitely.
So it's we're hoping to hit 40 to 50% really, coming up, and we have to be cognizant of things like screen time as well with
Yeah.
tablets and apps, more so than a website in a lot of ways, because it's screen time is very powerful. It has a bad rep for a reason. Like, you don't
Yeah.
want to just shove your
Definitely.
child in front of a screen and say, here's have at it. So we want to approach that thoughtfully as well. Make sure that there's timeouts that can be set. Make sure that we use it in the best ways possible.
Yeah. Definitely. Definitely. So looking ahead, where do you see the next chapter of e-learning? What innovations are you most excited about?
I deep personalization. I know personalization is always a thing, but it's something we have approached from day one.
Hmm.
I think back when the founders launched it, it was not the way math was approached, and that was one of the core kind of differentiators. Since then, a lot of companies approach it that way, but I think it's so deep in our ecosystem and the way we want to do things that taking to the next level, and really, again, AI is a super powerful tool for that. And so, how can we truly understand what good learning outcomes mean, truly predict them, and truly guide students in the best possible way, in a fun way? Because sometimes the best learning outcomes involve a little not learning, right? Because if you don't want to just push, because a child will say like, "No, I don't want to do this anymore." So so sometimes you make the learning a little lighter, so that the child can keep enjoying, and sometimes you push it up when the timing's right, and that is a really hard balance to hit.
Yeah, definitely.
And I see a lot of potential for AI to kind of find that right balance for each individual student, because each individual child is different and
Yeah,
learns differently. So I'm very excited about that.
awesome. Awesome. How has AI had an impact on the way you gamify learning within AdaptedMind, or has it always just been something from the start?
That's always been something from the start. Again, trying to balance the fun with the learning. The and right now it has not affected the way we approach gaming and the way we approach the kind of the feedback loops and the way we want to make learning fun. That I think we want to be very thoughtful for, and especially with children, you don't want some AI, saying some nonsense or something incorrect. Even you got to be very, very certain about how you're using it, what you're using it for, because it's a slippery slope there. Again, you might have something that the kid loves but doesn't learn at all, or might have incorrect learning even. So really approach it thoughtfully in terms of how we make it a part of our gaming experience, so that we don't just turn into a video game.
Awesome. If you had a magic wand to solve just one thing that's holding AdaptedMind back from achieving that next level of innovation and differentiation, what would that be?
That's a good question. I do think, let's see, I think we have a fantastic roadmap, a fantastic team, very innovative thinking. And I think how to execute fully as quickly as possible is kind of, if I had a magic wand, I'd use it for that. Because when you have all these large ambitions, all these great ambitions, it can be hard to prioritize and figure out this one goes first, and then this one, and then this one, and this team works on that. And so I think it goes more with the organizational growth, which is great problem to have. You're growing. And goes more with how can we effectively unlock all of this kind of wonderful learning experience and gaming experience and everything faster. And I do believe we'll get there. But if I had a magic wand to do it now, I'd just do it now.
Yeah, just cut through and push everything out, definitely. In terms of, growing your user base, getting more parents onboarded and whatnot, what's been what's been AdaptedMind's main strategy in terms of, pushing the platform out and, signing new parents up?
Yep. So we have several successful marketing campaigns, and we have several successful kind of organic strategies. We are just now approaching social, so starting our social channels and trying to give content that is going to help parents, going to be fun for kids at the same time. Something that a parent might say, "Oh, that's a way I can teach my child something," and then maybe get a little more interested and visit AdaptedMind and sign up. So there's a whole kind of not new. Right, social's been around forever.
Yeah.
But new for us in terms of a strategy that we haven't really delved deeply into yet. So trying to just unlock that brand presence more broadly is something we are approaching now. And right now, and continuing our marketing in a way that, again, is safe, is helpful. So everything we do, how can we add some learning into this? Even if it's like a YouTube ad or something, how can we make it educational and make it fun and make it, even if no one signs up, no one clicks, no one does anything, maybe they learn something. And that for us is a win. So, so continuing that strategy along with more organic social, and just continuing to make good product at the end of the day.
Yeah. At the end of the day, that's the
4/7.
most important thing.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's it.
Yeah. Yeah. You can't have the successful, social campaign without, working product.
Yeah, you can have the best marketing, the best social, the best,
Right.
but if your product isn't good,
You'll be
isn't
found
something
out.
kids want, yeah, it's not going to go
Yeah.
anywhere.
Yeah.
So that's always a focus, and that will always continue to be a focus. And that's what we're most excited about, really, at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Yeah.
But you can also go the other route. You can make the best product in the world, and if no one knows about it, no one will
Yeah. Exactly. We'll
find
consume
it.
it. Yeah.
So yeah, both firing on both cylinders is the
And
right.
then has your marketing been primarily targeted directly to parents, or do you also target, schools or I guess bigger, places
We are
to go down
B2C,
into? Yeah.
which for education is the B2B version's going to schools,
Yeah, exactly.
which is a route we do want to go and are kind of ramping up our data and capabilities for,
Yeah.
especially with some of the like federal funding cuts and other things that are going on lately with education.
Yeah.
It's becoming a little more fragmented. That the B2B route used to be the kind of main playbook for a lot of ed tech companies. And that's proving to be a little risky right now. And it always has been in our, like we chose, or the founders chose, this was before I joined, but I very much align with this decision and think it was a good one, is to start B2C, to start with a product that kids want to use. Because rather than a product that is kind of forced to, do curriculum in a certain way and, hit all these check marks, but might not be a good product. You might be forced it in schools. But if kids want to use something, if parents want to use something, the founders' idea was then we can move to schools because it's a
Exactly.
product, that is useful and that people like and love.
Proven use
And
case too. So it makes it much more easier to sell to schools, to pitch to schools, because you already have their kids using it, or, a big, 200 million kids using it.
exactly. And we get requests from schools actually. Hey, can you fill out this form? We want to use this in our district. And we are stockpiling those requests because we do want to go that route. But we
Yeah.
still want to. We're still on the path of making the best possible product. And now with AI, that's even more exciting.
Yeah.
Prioritization is the
Exactly.
name of the
Yeah. You only
game.
have so much bandwidth and time and resources. So yeah, exactly. Yeah, I guess with my last question would probably be around, social media, and marketing and everything like that. You mentioned that this is a new experience, kind of a new avenue for you guys, for the company. Um, what, I guess, what does that look like right now? Are you guys leveraging AI at all to help, I guess, make those workflows really efficient, push things out, or is it all kind of still figuring things out as you go?
It's so step one. Well, Google, like Bing, all the big advertiser companies use AI to kind of surface your ads and do some black box magic that you don't really have insight into in terms of how they place your ads, how they serve them. So that's kind of by default, and understanding that is something we try to do. For us in particular, we actually are now, again, data is the name of the game with AI. So we're ingesting more of our marketing data into our own databases, tying it to, guests, and making sure that our users and students, just to see like, okay, this campaign is really effective, and children learn the most. The children who come through here learn the most. So maybe we focus on that. So really getting all that data in one place, fully end to end, from the marketing campaign or the organic push, or wherever a user comes from, to their learning outcomes and the best possible kind of outcome that we can get. Or if they churn, like, oh, this user wasn't happy, or it cost too much for them, or something like that. We try to be generous with giving out scholarships, we call them, free accounts for parents who can't afford it. But we're not going to be able to know every time that is the case. So getting all that data in one place, understanding it fully, and then throwing it into these models to find the best model, maybe tweak it, and really unlock our own marketing analysis, where, okay, that will automatically, step one, inform us, not just kind of do its own, like magically on its own. But step one, inform us, so that day to day we have insight into what's happening and we can adjust things. And step two, do it for us. So again, do it thoughtfully, do it right. That's kind of the way we approach it.
Amazing. Well, Nolan, this has been an absolutely fascinating conversation. Love your perspective on, building personalized learning. I think the biggest thing that stood out for me is you use the word thoughtfulness, throughout, and how important it is to be thoughtful in the way, designing how the way, students learn. Really enjoyed this conversation. Anything else you want to plug or put out there before we wrap?
No plug. Just again, thank you for having me. Thanks for the conversation. Always excited to talk about education, technology, and it's what I love.
Amazing. Well, thanks, Nolan. Thanks everyone for listening. This has been the 1760 sessions. All the show notes will be in the description below. So I'll catch you next time. Thank you.
Thank you.